Hey friends, it's Quenby, the Grateful Queen here on YouTube. Welcome back for another video. If you are new here, I have been a part-time reseller for over 10 years. I started out selling on eBay. I started with my son's baby clothes and then started buying things for me, and then it mushroomed into a whole business. I also have been selling on Poshmark for a few years. I sell to Thredup. I sell live on Whatnot, and I sell to Etsy. So I'm an experienced reseller. And today I wanted to talk about an issue that I think is affecting most resellers across the nation. And to get us started, I think I'm going to read a few comments I've received lately on my social media, whether it's here on YouTube or over on Instagram. So this comment came from my friend Geneva, who is a longtime viewer and supporter of this channel. And she says, Quenby, I'm so disappointed. Every place that I used to go has changed and is marking everything up. Even Talbot's and J. Jill. I have one place that always has designer stuff, but they sell it for 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks or more depending on the item and brand. It's so expensive. Another one of my places moved all the good stuff to a different section and priced it up. They even have all Athleta prices at $20 or more. Let me know in the comments if you're resonating with any of this. I certainly am. This is from another friend who says, gosh, I really miss the good old days of thrifting. It's getting more difficult to find items that are profitable. I'm glad I saw a little bit of everything to help those odds. And my friend Kelly says, my Salvation Army has insane prices. I haven't visited it in over a year. Our friend on the channel, Jocelyn, says, Goodwill isn't the same. I don't know if it's the popularity of the bins, the need for funding, or just getting greedy. If you come across a red, white, and blue thrift, they aren't inflating prices nearly as much. Thank you for your content and positive energy. And Maureen says, in Hawaii, it's $6 to $9 is the regular price all the time. We do not have a bins either, so I have to be really creative when sourcing. This is just a handful of comments. I have dozens of similar comments of resellers talking about the very real issue of inflated prices at the thrift stores. Many of us that resell have a business model where we go to thrift stores, to places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, some of you have Savers. We buy things, hopefully at a low cost of goods, so that we can come home and list them on sites like eBay and Poshmark and Etsy and make a profit off those items. But what happens when the thrift stores are raising prices so high that there is not room for profit? I do think this is a very real issue facing resellers like myself. I live here in Sonoma County, California. It's an affluent area. It's a pretty big city of about 200,000 people where I live. So I have 3 or 4 Goodwills. I have a Salvation Army. I have a plethora of thrift stores. The cost at my Goodwill for items are as follows. Dresses are $9.99. Jeans are $9.99. Any type of top is $6.99. I think shorts are $6. Shoes, it depends. They're individually priced at most of my Goodwills. Goodwill also has like their sections where they mark things up. So these are entire racks that have little tags on them that are like $14, $15, and there's no rhyme or reason that I can tell as to why Goodwill is marking up these particular items. It's anything that they think is better, they are marking up. Let me know in the comments of this video, what are the general prices at the thrift stores in your area, and are your thrift stores starting to mark up so many items like that? The other thing is that many Goodwills and thrift stores right now are increasing their prices. I'm filming this in November 2022. At the end of November, January is coming, and my local Salvation Army has announced that they plan to have a price increase starting in January, and usually the other thrift stores follow suit. In January, we're going to be seeing an increase in thrift store prices. Now, a lot of you, I have seen in your own videos, your own thrifting videos, that your Goodwills still have a 50% off color tag. So you walk in the door and it might say, this week, All green tagged items are 50% off. And you can find deals that way, and that's fantastic. Some Goodwills still have like a 99-cent day on Sunday. These are things that my local Goodwills used to have, but across the county now, they don't have any of those sales whatsoever anymore. And my local bins that was local to me has been closed. So it begs the question, if you're a reseller and your business model has been based on thrifting as sourcing, and the cost of goods at thrift stores goes up so high, what are your options? What are you supposed to do? How do you keep running the same business if these are the circumstances? I think it's time that resellers have to get really creative. If you followed me over the past few years on this channel, you know I didn't name my channel The Grateful Queen for no reason. Gratitude is my #1 spiritual practice. So I try very hard, even when things are difficult, to keep things positive. You know, to keep my mind in a good neighborhood, to try and find the things that I'm grateful for in any situation. So I don't want this to be a video that's just like a dumping, complaining video. I think the reality is pretty hard with what's happening with thrift store prices all across the country right now. But I also do want to focus on solutions. And I do think it's a time where resellers are going to be required to get very creative in their sourcing. So what can you do? If you're one of these people who've left me these comments on the videos, I want to give you a few ideas that I have, and then please, in the comments, if you've got any suggestions, people read the comments of the videos, please leave any suggestions or thoughts that you have. One idea that I have, if thrift store prices are just getting too expensive for you to source there and get enough inventory, I think all of us will admit that when you go to a thrift store, there's often brands that they miss or they don't know about, and it's a total treasure hunt. And then you find something, you're like, wow, they put a Johnny Was top in here for $7. That's fantastic. I'm gonna get that. Whereas they put an Old Navy top for $14 in the marked up section. I don't really understand. So you can find things, but I think one of the issues there is, can you find enough? Can you find enough things that thrift stores have not marked up for you to come home and have enough to list? Now, for myself as a part-timer, I have never had the opportunity to thrift as much as I would like. I've never relied on thrift store shopping alone to get inventory for my reselling business, just because I simply haven't had the time. So one of the ways that I've supplemented inventory for my business is to use Thredup. So that's one of the first creative solutions that I think you might consider if you haven't before. Thredup rescue boxes. Thredup rescue boxes are for sale on their site. They're very affordable. I have a whole playlist of the boxes. They have shoe boxes, handbag boxes, men's clothes, women's clothes, whatever it is that you sell. And like I said, I have a whole playlist of videos so you can watch those and say, okay, would this work for me? Disclaimer, any type of mystery box is a risk. Some of my Thredup boxes have been amazing. Like, I've made so much money off them, and some of them, it's been a lot harder to make my money back. I don't think I've ever lost money on a Thredup box. I don't think. But I want you to know those are a risk, but they're very affordable. When I buy the women's mixed clothing box, it's $60 plus $5.99 shipping. So each item in the box is only $2.60. So it's something worth considering. The other thing with Thredup is Thredup has their Thredup outlet. I don't think everybody has access to the outlet, but I know I do, and I don't know if that's because I shop so much on Thredup buying rescue boxes, but Thredup outlet is very affordable. I have some videos on that too, where I'm shopping on the site in their outlet section, and they have something on the outlet where if you buy 20 items, you get 40% off, and the things are already so discounted. I'm getting things for like $3, $4, $5. So check out Thredup rescue boxes. They are a risk, but they can be a great way to get a lot of inventory right to your door. And check out the Thredup outlet if you have that available to you. Another way to get inventory that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is ShopGoodwill.com. So Goodwills all over the country have a website. The website is ShopGoodwill.com. I have bought a lot on there. You can source for individual items. Just put in the search engine like brands that you know you love. Like if you love selling flax, if you love selling the brand Eileen Fisher or Spanx, you can search and see what you can find. The other thing that I really like to do that's worked best for me on ShopGoodwill.com is to buy lots. I have bought many reseller lots. You can put the keyword reseller into their search engine, Or I bought mystery boxes, and I've bought some like not so mystery lots, and the last few I've got have been really good, where they might have like a table just piled with stuff and you can only see some of it and you bid on it. Most of it's an auction system, so you do have to be on there and kind of make note of when the auction's gonna end so that you can be there at the end of the auction. I don't love auctions, but I put up with it sometimes for ShopGoodwill because some of their lots have been really, really good. Watch out for shipping costs and handling costs on there. You can look for 1 cent shipping or free shipping. Some locations do that, but there's a estimate shipping button that you can press so you can see with your zip code how much it's going to cost, because sometimes the lots look really cheap. Sometimes I pay more in shipping than I do for the cost of the whole lot. So if you're looking for a way to get a bunch of inventory, maybe cheaper than your thrift stores, check out shopgoodwill.com. Another favorite of mine has been buying wholesale boxes. When Jomar was around, I used Jomar. I used Cozy Threads. Cozy Threads is now Helpsy Source. I do have a discount link down in the description if you want to check them out. And I have videos on the channel of boxes that I have ordered. The things that I like, I think I said ordered with my Boston accent. Boxes that I have ordered. The thing that I like about Helpsy Source is that you can go on and find boxes by brand. You can buy a J. Crew box or a J. Jill box. You can buy new with tags. You can buy pre-owned. They have jewelry. They have a little bit of everything. You can buy a box with like 20 items or a box with 100 items, so you can really make it work for you. Just do a little research. So if you see a box and you really like recently they had some Free People boxes, you have to figure out how much the box is and how much each item in the box that works out to be that you're paying for each item, and then run some comps and see if you think you can make money on that. I've done really well with the pre-owned boxes that are like mature women's boxes. You guys know I love to talk about selling mature women's brands like Chico's, Talbot's, J. Jill, and the larger sizes. I know I do well with that, so that's a pretty safe box for me. Again, any mystery box is a little bit of a risk. That's why it's pretty cheap. But it's a great way to get inventory, and you're definitely going to be paying less than thrift store prices on most of those boxes. Another creative solution, I think, is going to be finding a Goodwill outlet bins. The Goodwill outlet is run by Goodwill, but it's sort of the last chance for Goodwill. They have these giant, big, blue plastic bins filled with clothing and hard goods and shoes, and you dig through, you fill up your cart, and when you go to check out, you pay by the pound. If you don't know if you have a Goodwill outlet in your area, just Google it. Goodwill outlet near me, or Goodwill outlet with your zip code. These places are extremely affordable. They're a lot of fun. They're definitely a unique shopping environment. If you've never been to the Goodwill outlet bins, I have many videos that are kind of thrift with me, where I take you into the Goodwill outlet bins. I show you the sourcing. I show you what I bought and how much I paid for it. So check out those videos. I know some of you say, wow, that is not for me. And I recommend just going to check it out. Check it out at least a few times, because if you're a bin shopper, you know it's different all the time. I can go one day and I'm like, wow, I really didn't find anything and it was kind of dirty and crazy. I can go to the same bin another day and be like, oh my God, I can't believe what amazing stuff I found, and it was a really chill day at the bins. So you have to give it a few times. The other thing that people say to me is, well, Quimby, there's no bins near me. And I personally think it's worth traveling. You might consider traveling because it's worth it to keep your cost of goods so low. I used to have a Goodwill outlet right in my city. Those were the days. It ended with the pandemic. I call them every month or so and I say, when are you guys gonna open again? And they're like, we're working on it. They can't get employees, but it's been 2.5 years. So I've been traveling. It takes me 2 hours to drive to Sacramento, California. And so I go and I make an entire day out of it. We usually leave here at like 8, get there around 10, 11, and thrift all day, stop, get lunch, thrift until the place closes at 6 p.m. Another tip would be make some friends and also go and meet them there like I do. I meet my friends Cynthia, Jessica, Raquel, I've met Brandy, all sorts of friends. It's really fun to do the Goodwill outlet bins with other people. It makes the work really fun. You might have to consider traveling. Some people I know will drive, even if it's very far away, and get a hotel, because it is so inexpensive that you can make so much more profit that it seems worth it for a lot of people to drive and travel and even stay over in order to shop at the Goodwill out bins. Okay, this is in no way an exhaustive list. I'm just giving you a few tips. I'm really hoping that in the comments you'll leave the suggestions and tips and things that you've figured out. And the last one is, I think it has really helped me to branch out and find other thrift stores. Usually I just know where the Goodwills are, and so I'm like, I know that store, I'm just gonna go. And then I end up spending so much more per item. I think it's worth trying to find little mom and pops thrift stores, little church thrift stores, or charity shops. I have a bunch of them in my area that I've discovered more recently as I've been trying to branch out. So if you had asked me, I would have been like, no, I don't think we really have much like that. Or I know of one all the way across town and I've gone there. But the more I start looking and talking to people and searching, I have found many more little honey holes. These are like little thrift stores attached to a church or associated with a church or a charity in some way. And often those have much cheaper prices. So ask around, drive around, keep your eyes open, try and manifest it, visualize yourself finding a little honey hole where things are still $2 or $3. They do exist. You might have to go to another town, but you know what? It'd be worth it if you were spending a third of the cost on your inventory. Honestly, I didn't think there were even that many around me, and I have found so many thrift stores that I did not even know were there, kind of tucked away. Once I put it out there and said, I need to find some other thrift stores, I've been finding them. So try and find some other thrift stores that are not the big name brand ones like Goodwill, Salvation Army, Savers. Although I think Savers has lots of good sales. I don't have one around me, so I don't know. But there are little stores. I'm sure there are little stores hiding around your town or the next town over that you could find and really save some money. Friends, this is just my thoughts on this challenging issue. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. That's my favorite part, reading. I respond to all the comments, and we're here to encourage each other and build each other up and help each other. So please, if you have any information that you think would be helpful, leave it in the comments. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oh, I wanted to show you guys the back hit on this shirt if you watched my last video. So it looks like just a linen plaid shirt. It's okay, right? But then look at the back. My friend Raquel says, party in the back. I don't know if you can see it because I can't see. It's all burgundy velvet and super heavy embroidery. I bought this, it was $6 or $6.99 at Salvation Army, and I was gonna resell it, but I love it too much. I cannot resell it. Hey friends, why am I doing this with my finger? Hey, what am I pointing at? Queen here on YouTube. Let me move this up a little because if I'm looking down, I have like serious double chins. We're gonna get this right. Here we go. Let me get them. I took pictures of these comments and then I have a feeling they're gonna be so small. Sometimes they're called a Goodwill donation center. Is that right? I feel like I've seen that, but it might just be Goodwill outlet. Anyway. I think one way to think creatively, if you can't afford to shop for your whole business at regular thrift stores anymore, is to think creatively and think about considering, it's a lot of things to possibly think about. Because you never want to say, this is what you should do. Keep your reselling business healthy and happy. No, why would you keep your reselling business healthy and happy? Hope that video was all right, but I never know.